Hello everyone, so welcome back, and let's start off with our quote of the day. It's going to be Judges chapter 6 verse 12. When the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, he said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Okay, and today's PowerShell topic will be recovering is hash tables. Okay, so hash tables, so they're also known as like associative arrays or dictionaries. They allow you to store like key value pairs and like where each key is unique and each key has an association value. So for example, like if you wanted to have like, name, that's like the key, and then the value would be John or whichever name you want to put in there. So, and this is useful for like when you want to store, for example, like in similar to like how you would store in a variable. So you could store it in like a hash table, which is very similar to kind of like how you see it in databases and so on, but this one is into memory. So let's get started with a simple creating a hash table. So let's try this. So we'll do, you know what, let me create it in the yeah, let's do it up here. Okay, instead of typing or everything, let me just do it quickly and I'll unpause the video. Okay, so this is our hash table here. So you can see we started off with a variable hash table, and it's equal to, we have the @ sign and open with curly braces, and then we declare our key values, which will be, the key will be name, and then the value will be Johnny. Key is age, value is 23. Key is country, and the value will be USA. Okay, and so for example, this in this example, how will we want to access this value? So this is, the values are going to be stored under that that hash table itself. So let's say we wanted to get one of these values out of there and kind of reference it. So you could reference it and actually assign a variable to it. So let's say the variable name will be, we'll call the variable name, and then we want to assign that variable the hash table. Okay, and then now we want to put the key in here. So this is where you put the key, and in this case we'll put the key name, because I want to get the value of what this key is, right? And then I'll just write it out. Let me just put a comment on that, and then we'll write host, which will give us the name. So let's try that out. There you go. So it came back with Johnny. So this is how you would set up, like create a hash table here, and then we showed you how to access the values of the hash table. Okay. Now what happens if you put so if you put the wrong hash value in there, let's see what happens. So you can see nothing came back. So you just get back an empty field, empty value. So now, so what happens if we want to maybe add a new key value to the existing hash table? How would we do that? So I'll just put adding to hash table. So this will kind of show you just a title for what we're going to do, and then I'll just put hash table. So we put the existing hash table name there, which is called hash table, and then we would want to maybe add whatever you want to put in there. So you would want to put the key in curly, not curly, square brackets, and we could put the state, and then we put the equal sign, and then we'll put NY for New York. Okay, and then let's just okay, and then we want to pull that value back, right? So that way we could see. So I'll call this city. Now I could have kept it under the name variable. I just trying to make it consistent so everybody will follow. So I'll call it state. So this will create the actual state inside of this hash table. Then I'm going to pull out the hash. I'm going to pull out the value of it's not even cities. I'll just call it st for state. Then I'm supposed to expect I'll see ny here. So let's try this out. There you go. So it came up with the ny. And the reason for that is because we added this to the hash table here. And then I was able to pull it out by putting that key here. And remember, if the key doesn't exist, it will just come back with a blank. So that's how you knew it was in there. Now, what happens? What if we want to maybe remove it? So we could do that, and this is how you would remove it. So we would put hash table dot remove, and then I'll just pick which one I want to remove. So maybe I'll remove country. Okay. And just for the sake of it, so I'll put country here, and I shouldn't expect anything to come back because the country will be removed. So it should show blank here. So let's try that. There you go. It came back blank. So that means it removed the country key value here from the hash table, and then when I try to locate it with the key below here, it came back blank. Okay, so let's maybe do a little more advanced task here. So let's say we want to go through all the keys here to find out all the keys in the table. So we could do for each. So I know we didn't cover this topic yet, so if you don't understand the concept here, that's okay. We'll cover it in a future video. And key in hash table. The keys. Okay, and then so what we're building here is we're building like a for each. So this is called a loop, a for each loop. And inside of this loop, I am just going to create a value, and then we're going to put an equal sign there. Oops. Then hash table key. Now you want to open square brackets and then put the key in there. Okay, and then we want to write the output of all the keys it found, right? So we'll put, you want to put this in code, so you'll put the key variable, and then we'll just put a semicolon there, and then the value. Okay, and then you want to close this off. I think we have it closed here. So this is kind of a closing curly bracket. So what this means is everything in the for each, meaning that I want to loop through, meaning I want to iterate through the hash table, meaning that, hey, this hash table, I want to go through all these here, meaning that the first iteration I'll grab the first key, second iteration I'll grab the second key, and third iteration I'll grab the third key. So what it's doing here is it will go through each of those keys that it found, right? And it will assign each key that it found to this key variable, and then the value, it will give us the value. The value equals the value equals to the hash table. It's looking up that key. So remember how we looked up the key using this here, the hash table. Oops, I forgot to put the capital T there. So let me just make sure I have that correct. Okay, so yeah, so that's what it means. So now I'm actually just pulling the key whatever it found in the key. So it's actually, this first line is going to actually give me the key names, and then the key names I'm putting it in here. So for each key name it found, it will assign the value to that key, giving me the actual key name value. And then the key, and then we're going to write out to the screen the key that it found and the value that was associated with the key. Okay, so let's try that out. Let me Well, I guess I could leave that there for now. Okay, and it looks like, remember how we had in memory, we removed country there, so that's why you're not seeing country anymore. Now we could no, we could add it back, right? So I don't know if you remember how we added it back. So which is pretty easy. So we just kind of like let me just copy this back here, and I would put, well, I'm gonna remove this altogether so you won't have to mess with that. And then remember we put the equal sign on whatever we want it to be, the value. So I'll put USA, and then this should be added back to the table here. So if we try that again, you could see it's added back in there. Alright, so that's all we have for today. So this kind of gave you like how to add, edit, and add and edit some keys. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, you could also update the value though, before we go. You could also update the value the same way how we did the add. Let's say I wanted to change this to Canada. This is how you would update it as well. You just put the new value that you want in there, and it will update the value. So you could use the same add command, but the same add is pretty much whatever value you set it to. It's going to change the value to whatever you have in here. Okay, so let's go back to our quote of the day, which is Judges chapter 6 verse 12. When the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, he said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." All right, just remember to read your Bible, and I look forward to seeing you on the next day. Thank you.